Okay, so we are live. Welcome back to the channels, you guys. Happy Hump Day Wednesday. And I gotta say, we have pretty interesting episodes today, but you know what? I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and let folks start strolling on in here, and then we will jump into this. So let us see. Give me 1 second. Hopefully you guys having a good Wednesday. Okay, there we go. Hey, daycare with the kids. You are #1 today. Hey, Aisha. Yeah, the soaps was good. Aisha, yeah, I enjoyed Y&R as well. Hey, Rednax. Rednax is in the building, y'all. Are you back home or are you still traveling, Rednax? Did you have a good trip? It's good to see you here. Hey, Melissa. Yes, hit that like button. Indigo Blue, Myra, Vicky Langer. Welcome, you guys. So welcome to Soap Corner Talk, where I'm going to discuss the recap for The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful for October 16th. Yes, welcome in Cynthia, Crystal, Marion. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Rednecks. Yeah, 12,000. Can you believe it? It's been a long time coming. I mean, I've been at this on YouTube for coming up on 2022. So about 2.5 years now. We've been on the podcast and going into year 5 or 6. Let me see, 2025, 2019. So we're actually been in the podcast. Keisha and I first started back in 2019. So the podcast itself, 6 years, YouTube, 2.5. So thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. Thank you, Catherine. We love you guys over here too. I'm glad you love the broadcast. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about Y&R, because Y&R was good today. Oh my goodness. Woo chow. Okay, so first let's get Daniel out the way. Daniel looks like prime suspect #1. As Chance found the phone, somebody changed the access code to the phone. He found a text message inside the actual that was never sent, that was going to go to her dad. And she talked about how, well, we all know Sharon put that in there, but talking about how the whole thing with, oh, you know, Daniel and I have been fighting and we're afraid of him, and yes, we might come back and stay in Lisbon. And that looks very bad. Very, very, very bad. You know what I mean? So I find it really interesting that, okay, well, first of all, let me address something in the comment. What we do over here, and what my daytime #1 soap opera from day one, we have conversation on my live chats. So when I send shout outs, that's my way of appreciating each and every one of you guys that come in here. Identifying my listeners is not a waste of time. I would not have a YouTube channel if it wasn't for my supporters and my listeners. So when they take the time out of the middle of their day, or on a Wednesday night with Bree and I, or on a Friday night when we have our weekly chat, we will acknowledge our listeners. That's why I call them my soapies. So I understand that maybe you might be new here, and respectfully, I understand maybe you're not sure, and that's okay. But this is a live chat, and they come over here every single day to have a conversation with me. So it's different than it's a recap. So I do recorded recaps. I did one yesterday about the new soap opera coming out in January called Beyond the Gates. That's a recorded video that's uploaded where I do cast updates. I do spoilers that way as well. But when I go live for a reason to interact with my listeners. Okay? So, I just want to kind of give you the heads up. You might not like the format, and that's okay. But that's how we do it over here, and I appreciate all of my soapies so much. From the time I started YouTube in 2022, and when Keisha and I originally started this podcast in 2019, when we were on Anchor. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, Daniel is prime suspect number one because of the text message that Chance found that wasn't sent. Of course, we know Sharon put it in there. And unfortunately, it's not looking too good for none other than Daniel Romalotti. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. No problem. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Angela, Melissa, Spencer. I appreciate you guys. And plus, they also do housekeeping in my chat, especially people like Aisha and Melissa and Vicky Langer. They make sure that these guys are also interactive. So I appreciate that as well. Anywho, yeah, it's not looking too good for Daniel, and Daniel is cooked right now. Now he does have some alibis because that night that all of that happened, he was first with his family, Summer and Phyllis, and then he went to pick up Lucy from community service over at the GCAC, and then they went to a movie, and of course that should be on camera as well. So I guess it becomes whether or not the police officers or investigators actually look at the time of death to figure out, when did that actually happen and where was Daniel at the time. You know what I mean? Jacqueline, you never knew Sharon was a phone hacker. Me either. All I knew is that she runs. Well, wait a minute. Cassidy First is an IT company, so maybe she got up to speed on how to work with information technology. Cassidy First, that company that Cameron passed her, that left her behind, was an IT startup. So maybe she got well versed in technology. So maybe that's how she did. Because I was like, when did she learn all this stuff? She has a coffee house. She's a part-time therapist who's going through some personal things herself. And then she runs Cassidy First. However, Cassidy First is an IT firm. Cheryl said, wouldn't there be some forensic evidence to link Sharon to the crime? You would think. But the thing is, it depends on how sloppy she was. And they're going to do, I think forensics is going to come to the house. If they use that, what is that stuff called? I used to talk about it a few weeks back. That's luminol. If they use luminol in that apartment, it's going to show blood spatters all over the place. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, you're right, Dolores Stewart. She said that she also worked at the police department. That is true. That is true. Yep, so it ain't looking good for Daniel, so we'll have to see what happens with him next. All right. Let's talk about his mama. So, Phyllis is trying to figure out what the fallout is looking like after him having that conversation with his mom, Jill. And Billy is like, you know what? I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. If I want to keep my job, I got to cut you and take Lily back. At the same time, he don't want to take Lily back, but he wants to keep his job. I just still don't like the fact that Billy did not tell his mother that Lily took that information. And they even had the conversation about because Phyllis was like, did you tell her that she backstabbed you? And she was like, yeah, but she don't believe me. Billy, you didn't tell the full story of the backstabbing. Billy should have talked about that whole thing with Odyssey 7. and say, hey, remember that program we were working on? I finally got the deal coming to close. She went and told Victor about it, and now Victor stuck his nose in it, and now it's back into the I don't know zone. He should have opened his mouth. So I'm like, Billy, you got to tell the whole story. You just can't say, oh, she backstabbed me. Of course she's not going to believe that. Give her some details. You know what I'm saying? So that part just did not make sense to me at all. Anyway, she is begging for her job. She's also begging for Billy to hire Daniel. And I'm like, girl, I get it. You're trying to help your son. But you need to figure out how you going to keep the job there. He can't. How is he figuring? I mean, how is she figuring that, you know what? Keep me and bring Daniel on, please, pretty please, with ice cream and sprinkles. And I'm like, I don't think this is the right time to be pitching for Daniel. Right now, as it stands, you about to be fired, Phyllis. I'm hoping Billy can figure this out, where Phyllis actually gets to stay. The truth gets revealed about Lily. You know what I mean? And, you know, that keeps both Victor and Lily at the whole game. I would hope that he would do that. Exactly, LaShanta. I really enjoy Phyllis and Billy working together. Jan said Billy already tried some, but Jill was too busy not believing him. So, Jan, all he said was, she backstabbed me. What he should have said, Mom, she didn't tell you the whole truth. Remember that deal? Odyssey 7? She took that information to Victor. So as much as she was telling you Victor is coming for us, she at one point was helping him. I think Jill would have had a whole mind shift if he gave her all of the details. So, yeah, Phyllis did. Didn't Phyllis call him a puppet? You are absolutely right. Who said that? That Billy is a puppet. I saw it in the chat, but yeah, pretty much. You know, and he's sitting there like he's cooked. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I'm going to be out of a job if I don't kick you to the curb, Phyllis. And I don't want Lily to come back. I'm like, dude. Maybe if you open up your darn mouth and say what she needs to hear, that she's been working with Victor, that would shift everything. And obviously, Lily probably thought that Jill wouldn't believe him, which is why she kept that secret from him. I'm like, throw her butt under the bus. I mean, why are you not giving all the details? That's just my opinion. Yeah, Janet. Jan and Jenna. Billy is a puppet. Oh, okay, I got you, Jenna. Yep, you said it. Speaking of Victor Newman, Victor and Adam had a conversation. And Adam, at first, he was hands off with Billy, not, and I'm like, Adam, don't do this. Why? And I know he's not happy with Billy now, with everything that happened at society, and now that Chelsea and Connor have pretty much kind of distanced themselves from Billy, and Connor wants his parents back together. So Adam is like, you know what? Oh, no problem, Rednecks. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. And we miss you over here, and have fun over in Europe. However, the interesting thing about all of that, and I'm like, Adam, don't get involved in that. Now, I know and he told Victor, you know what my terms are. I'm not going after Jack. And Victor was like, well, you know what my terms are. And I'm like, Adam, did you ever expect him to agree to anything that you said? I mean, look at all the stuff that he's trying to, first of all, be a better dad himself. he obviously wants Jack and Kyle to reconcile, and he don't want Victor in the middle of that. And I don't blame Adam for being hands off with that. But this whole thing with Billy, I'm like, why are you doing that? Just do what you gotta do with work and keep it moving. But obviously it wouldn't be a soap unless there's some drama. So, of course, we're going to have some drama when it comes to, Adam publishing something on Billy and Abbott Chancellor, which sucks. So because of the fact that Victor wouldn't give Adam any answers, he ran into Michael. And Michael, who's also a puppet, a pathetic, simpery puppet for Victor Newman, he turns around and say, I don't know anything. And, and I'm like, really? And then he had the nerve to tell Adam, I can't say anything if I did know, because I did some things to portray Victor. And you know what? I'm trying to get back in his good graces. Dude, cry me a river. You don't have to do that. You are an attorney. Your wife runs one of the biggest companies in the world, in a fashion house. You ain't got to kiss up to Victor Newman for what? Go work for yourself. Start your own firm. Victor don't care about nobody but himself. Yeah, LaShanta, I guess he is in a rock and a hard place. And he's trying not to do anything to destroy this situation with Jack. But at the same time, he wants to throw his brother under the bus. Yes, please get the likes up, you guys. Michael is pathetic, Jacqueline. I mean, seriously. Dolores Stewart said Michael will always do Victor's dirty work. Absolutely. Michael it's just pathetic. I mean, I'm like, dude, you put yourself through all those years of law school. Get your life back on track. Only to be thrown into a Peruvian prison a few years back. To be trying to build up a cement wall in Victor Newman's basement and cover up the whole thing when it comes to Jordan and them stinky Brussels sprouts because he held her captive. And at the end of the day, Victor still don't see you in his good graces. Yeah. Jan, he works for Victor at this point. I don't even know if he can do private work. I guess he could. It depends on how the storyline is written. But I'm like, really? Why does he need to be fooling with Victor? Exactly. He doesn't need to, Jenna. That man could do so many other things. But no, he'd rather kiss Victor's butt. That whole thing is absolutely insane. But you know what? He continued to do it, and he gonna get thrown into some more prisons if he keep working with Victor. There's no way. After being thrown into a Peruvian prison where he had no access to the outside world, there is no way I would be working with Victor at this point. I'm like, dude, I almost got locked up away in a whole nother country, not able to see my wife and family again. Yes, I chose to do this for you, but I'm not doing this no more. I'd be like, boy, bye. I'm going to douche you out. Peace out. Take the peace sign because I'm out of here. That is insane that Michael does all this stuff. Michael said he did something against Victor that he couldn't mention. He protected him. He didn't do anything against him. He told him, look, if you don't get that woman out your basement and it's found out, you can go to jail for a very long time. Number one, you're hiding a fugitive. And number two is kidnapping. He saved his butt. And he look at it as a betrayal. Man, listen, I'd be like, you know what? I'm through with you. And then I got to jump through hoops to get back into your good favor. Yeah, right. That's crazy to me. Speaking of crazy, we got to talk about Audra Charles and her conversation with Jack Abbott. This girl had the nerve. Now, she has an NDA right now. And the interesting thing, Okay. The interesting thing about this NDA is that she was supposed to keep that a secret. That's the purpose of signing an NDA, that the reason that you were fired, which is why he wants Adam to make it look like a mutual discharge, that she left the company on mutual agreement. The purpose of an NDA is to keep your mouth closed about anything related to the situation. So she goes up there and give all that information to Jack about how Victor Newman is behind Glissade and he's the one that is, pushing your son against you and your company. And he was like, I already knew that. Okay, and what do you want? Well, if you help me, I will help you. And Jack was like, let me think about it. No, I'm not interested. This girl had the nerve to guilt trip him by saying, I gave all that information to you and I signed an NDA and I could be putting myself at risk. Jack had the perfect comeback. And he said, you chose to do that. I didn't ask you to do that. You chose to do that. And then she tried to throw it back in his face, about him and his son and all this kind of stuff, and how she was eavesdropping on the conversation that she saw and all this type of stuff. Jack left her where she stand. Jack told her, you know what? I'm not helping you. I don't need you to intervene between me and my son, and you're not getting Glissade back because you can't beat Victor. I was like, let me get my round. Let me see. Do I have some sound effects in here? Where's my sound effect? I had to give this man a rolling round of applause because I thought this was I thought that was the best response that he could have given. I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of everything that Jack had to say, even though a lot of this is still his fault, because what happened at home was his fault. But the fact that he counteracted Audra Charles when she tried to play the quid pro quo and you scratch your back and I scratch mine and this whole thing, he was like, yeah, that's on you, boo-boo. You chose to give me information and break your NDA. I didn't tell you to do that. You did that. Oh, and by the way, I already knew. I don't need your help. I'm not helping you. And by the way, you're not getting Glissade back because you can't beat Victor. I loved every minute. Good for Jack. Exactly, Joyce Boone. I got to give him another applause for that. Absolutely loved it. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get it back. I'm like, what is up with you and Lily? Let it go. Audra is still trying to fight for Glissade. Audra, just a message before we move over to Bold. Maybe if you just had taken the company when Tucker gave it to you, you wouldn't have been in this situation. You would have been the only sole owner. It would have been all yours. You wouldn't have had to deal with Victor. You wouldn't have to deal with Kyle. And you could have ran the business as you see fit. But no. You wanted to try to stick it to Tucker, give him billions of dollars, which he walked away with a paycheck, and sign up with Victor Newman where he has a majority share and he owns the company, and Kyle is now running your company. That's on you, sweetheart. And you just broke your NDA. Boy, you're doing great. Good luck with that. Same thing with Lily. So we'll see how that all turns out. I'm going to give this grade for The Young and the Restless an A. I absolutely loved this episode. It was great. Phyllis and her emotion. Audra thought she could be slick and it didn't work. Michael being a super simp, Daniel becoming the prime suspect, and Victor is just being Victor. So let me see your grades, and then we're going to move over to bold. So I gave it an A, you guys. I enjoyed the Young and the Restless episode. Alrighty, y'all. Audra and Lily need to hold hands. I know, LaShanta, they in the same boat. It's like they're fighting upstream to get something that is almost unattainable. Now, the writers could flip the script on us, who knows? But right now, it's like y'all two need to definitely go take several seats and reevaluate your life, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to the bold and the beautiful. So we had the aftermath of Ridge and Taylor and this whole the whole thing with the chakra teacher and everything, and we did see Taylor give Steffy an update. Steffy was shocked. She was scared. She's glad that her mom is okay, but honestly, I think this is going to put Steffy in overdrive to protect her mom from especially Brooke, and probably draw her father in, even though she claimed that she don't want to play matchmaker, but to draw her father in to, take care of and get closer to her mom, which, why would you do that? You just had a conversation with Hope yesterday where Hope is like, look, I think maybe our mom should learn from us and how we're not going to waffle over Liam, which we got to talk about that in a minute. But Steffy need not to send her mom chasing after Ridge. Now, I don't know if she's going to do that. I don't know if Steffy is going to play matchmaker or any of this other stuff. But I honestly think if Taylor don't use this situation, I can see Steffy using it as a way to, be on the defense with Brooke, and also use this as a situation to bring her parents closer. Yep. Let's talk about that, Melissa Spencer. She said Ridge was sure sucking up to Brooke today. So across town, we saw Ridge trying to give some sort of an explanation of what was going on with Taylor straddling his lap. And so he gave the name of the position, and I don't want to mispronounce it, but it sounds like bum yum or something like that. I hope I didn't mispronounce that position. And she was like real jealous. I mean, I don't care how much she want to say that she's not insecure about this situation or how jealous she is about this situation. It is apparent that is the case. And somebody had a good point in the chat about why Brooke did not hold Ridge accountable. I mean, she did question him about why did you have to do that? Why was she sitting on your lap? I mean, was this actually a breakthrough? So when he said that she had a breakthrough and I think we fine and I was going to come home and tell you, and Brooke was like, well, you should have told me from the jump. I don't know about that, Brooke. Now, again, I'm kind of split in the middle with that because I know last month I was saying, Taylor, don't keep the secret. However, it's not Ridge's secret to tell. It's Taylor's secret to tell or not tell. Now, I was in agreement of Taylor telling, at least Steffy what was going on with her last month. But when Ridge found out, I thought both of them should have told Steffy. But I was not in agreement to the fact that they should run around and tell everybody her diagnosis until she was ready to tell the rest of the world. Well, according to Brooke, she felt that she was entitled to know from day one that, you were going over there helping your ex. You're not married to him and you're currently still his ex too, Brooke. Remember, you don't need to get married. So technically, what, y'all just friends with benefits? Are y'all in a relationship? Y'all not engaged anymore? What's your status right now? Because I can remember you having a conversation saying that, yeah. Now, Jan, I agree. People shouldn't keep secrets from their partners, regardless. I get it. But it's a medical diagnosis, and that's why it would have been better for Taylor to talk to her family first, let them help her through it, and then hopefully be able to express that to the world. It wasn't his business to tell, it was Taylor's business to tell, because it was her diagnosis. I mean, what if it was something really personal, like, an STI or something that was terminal. I'll just say it like that she picked up somehow and it came out. That's not his business to go around and say that, oh, by the way, I just want to let you know I've been helping her because she has an STI. That's her diagnosis to tell. And that's why I was okay with the fact of her not telling the world if she didn't want to, but I did think that she should tell her family, especially her daughter. You know what I mean? Anyway, it finally got out. But see, I mean, here's the thing about these two is that there are secrets that she keep. Did she go and tell Bill about what was going on in that conversation? She's been talking to her ex too. Now, granted, originally he was all up in her business about, well, what's going to happen with Ridge? He's spending time with Taylor, and I know she's worried about us. And oh, Bill, are you having conversation about that? No. So, and that was minor. There was nothing nefarious. There was nothing romantic. But I don't think she had a conversation with Ridge about her going to her ex Bill either. Just my opinion. So, but then they turn around and she wanted to recreate that whole position. So, this position that you were doing with Taylor, that sounds kind of interesting. And of course, she wanted to see if her being in that position with Ridge is going to be better. So, we got a scene where she was straddling him on the bed. And I'm like, listen, writers, if you're going to give us some romance, give it to us. I mean, yeah, they were straddling each other. They've gotten to a passionate kiss, but it wasn't like what we're used to. I guess they teased us with a little bit, right? Just a little bit. All right, moving on. Then we had the shocker. So I knew based on the spoilers that Liam, yes, little puke waffle boy Liam, was going to do a tribute video to Hope. And I figured, I'm like, let's see what this tribute video is going to look like. Now, it's interesting that in the tribute video, he put all her hope for the future stuff in there, but he included himself in some of those photos as a big happy family with Hope. And I'm like, dude, can you not be that obvious? That was so obvious. A person with limited sight could see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, really, Liam? I mean, this was supposed to be about her business and her, yes, she's a mom and whatnot. One of them kids in that picture, which is Douglas, is Thomas's son with her. Now, not biologically, but it's Thomas's biological son that she adopted. Why are you in the picture as if you were part of that family that you're divorced from? I don't know. He was trying to be slick. Dolores Stewart said Hope needs to tell Liam that she moved on. She sure does. I don't know why but I know they're trying to keep her, and Carter is trying to keep all that a secret. You know what I mean? Her and Carter is trying to keep that a secret. So, yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see what she does tomorrow with this whole thing with Liam. Because that man turned around and he was like, hear me out. And then he kissed her. And I'm like, do you hear with your lips, Liam? You told her to hear you out, and then you kissed her. And then he talking about he been wanting to do that for a very long time. How long has it been? In the last 2 weeks? Because you've been sniffing around Steffy up until August. You got 2 kisses sitting out there that obviously we're never going to address from 2023 with Steffy. And then you've been trying to talk Steffy out of her relationship with Finn for most of 2024. So when you mean a very long time, do you mean last week? What are you talking about? Yeah, I know, Aisha, that was so lame. Liam's going hard, but he had plenty of opportunities. I know. And I gotta tell you, there was nothing in that kiss. Hope was, her hands was straight down to her side. She just was there like, what are you doing? And she pushed him off. She really don't want Liam. Now, if that was Finn, oh, she would have been all in. If that was Finn, she would have definitely been all in. She is not interested in at Liam at all. And he figured that kiss was going to ignite something. Now, writers, listen to us in this chat. Please do not take Hope down this slippery slope of getting back with Liam, who was 2 seconds off of checking for Steffy, which means that put Carter in a very precarious position where he can get his heart broken. Yes, Aisha, the first episode of Sisters start tonight. We sure will. Yes, we will. Liam with the family pics in that video again kissed her. Waffler moves. Exactly, TA. And then gonna talk about he been wanting to do that for a very long time. All I can say is stop lying. Stop lying. Yeah, Joyce, I agree. I was like, girl, if you don't push that man off of you, please, we don't want to go down that road. She just had the conversation with Steffy yesterday about not dealing with Waffle Boy. Hope was cringed out by that kiss. I was cringed out by it. I'm like, dude, really? You said, hear me out. And then you kissed her. Unless your lips are shaped like an ear, I don't think that's hearing you out. You know what I'm saying? Liam just think that he can plant his face on anybody. Even with those 2 kisses that he did, the first one in Rome and then the second one in the fall of last year, he just grabbed people and walked up and just kissed them. Now, granted, we did see Hope do that to Finn at the party with Danny Romalotti was at with Cricket. And that wasn't cool either. It's just nonsense. Liam need to move on. Hopefully Ivy will change that. Maybe, we getting to the end of the week. We supposed to have that romantic night between Carter and Hope on Friday the 18th. So hopefully she shuts him down tomorrow or maybe on Friday to tell Liam, look, I appreciate the fact and I'm flattered. However, I think it's best for us to move on. We've divorced. I'm not trying to get back with you. I'm trying to move forward. And who knows? Maybe Hope might say, unfortunately, Liam, I'm seeing somebody else. And of course, Liam is going to be like, who? And she should tell him it's none of your business. Well, I need to know who's going to be around. Are you bringing them around our children? That ain't none of your business, Liam. As long as he's not, somebody that is undesirable, or irresponsible individual, that's none of your business. So, KH said he's going to keep going after Hope the same way he did with Steffy. Hopefully Hope has the same willpower as Steffy. You know what would make this fun? If Hope goes to Steffy and say, you know what? Can you believe that after our conversation yesterday that Liam is trying to get back with me, girl? And I would be like, and I would hope Steffy would be like, girl, don't, let's not go down that go down that road. You said that, we've moved on. Maybe we should just, you better not get back with him. Find somebody else. You don't need Liam. He's a good father, but, maybe you can find somebody else. That would have been interesting if they did that. So, yeah. I was like, when I turn around and look, because they didn't put that in the spoiler about Liam kissing Hope. And so when I saw that on the screen, I had to do a double take because I was multitasking. And I'm like, wait, did Liam just kissed Hope? He sure did. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, exactly what Hope is going to tell Liam in the next episode. So we're going to talk more about that later tonight. And I know Bree is going to have a lot to say as usual. And yeah, I'm going to give this episode a B+. I'm going to give it a B+. I thought it was pretty good. And I wasn't in favor too much about the whole thing with Ridge and Brooke. And Brooke being like she wanted to recreate, to outdo Taylor. And is this like what Taylor did? And I'm like, why you in this moment, you with your man, you got your man in your bed with you, and you wondering if this moment is better than the one that you had with Taylor. Girl, just focus on what you got in front of you, in my opinion. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing what tomorrow's episode is going to look like. Young and the Restless, of course, probably be popping up in the next couple hours or so. And again, we'll talk more about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's episode later today. So make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video is posted. I'm T from Soap Corner Talk. And until the next one, we'll see you all later. Bye, Soapies.